When it comes to AI video, one of the things people seek the most is character consistency, and the big players out there have been introducing ways to do that. The Kling 1.5 model allowed us to upload some sample videos to create a full-on model of our face or our character so that we could then incorporate that character into a text prompt. But it did require several minutes of recording some video and uploading it and waiting for that process to occur. The only other way to get character consistency was to use a lot of image-to-video techniques so that you could have the image be the character you wanted to and have a start and end frame to minimize how much the face changed during the course of the clip. But now Minimax, or Hailuo, still one of the leaders in the space, has continued to expand their tool set and allow us now to create character consistency without having to build a model or upload several images or pieces of video, but just one image of our character, and Minimax will make sure that that character stays consistent throughout your clip. So I'm going to show you lots of examples of that, the hits and the misses. And the other new feature that they've added is a new model when it comes to the image to video. The base image to video model you have been aware of, they've had that for a while, but now they've got another one called Live, which is specifically designed for animating people and 2D illustration. This is going to be a big show and tell, again, of things that I've created on this platform over the weekend. In the process of showing you all these things, you will learn how these features work. We will also be making brief visits over to OpenArt to take a sneak peek at their new character generator, which allows you to use just one image to create a model that you can use to create imagery using that character with a text prompt. I'll show you several ways I've used that as we get there. So let's just start with the basics. The very first thing I tried was uploading an image of myself. What I love about this whole system is that you can easily go back and redo old work and also easily see the settings that you used. So here you can see that I used the subject reference feature, which allows you to upload a reference image. In this case, it was just this image. When you use this subject reference feature, you're going to be agreeing to the terms of use, which is all the stuff that makes sense because you're using people's faces and, you know, just be a good person. So this one here of me eating a taco is the first one I did. This was the reference image. From this interface, I can upload a new reference image if I want, or access any of the characters that I've created before. And as you can see, I've done a lot of different ones because it's so freaking easy to do. So on this, the prompt was, man is eating a taco in a fast food restaurant as it pours down rain outside. And just having that one image as the reference, it did a pretty good job. So this was the first test I did with this, and I was pretty impressed with it. This was the second one. I uploaded this reference image of Tracy, which was actually AI generated. And we got this right here, and it maintained the flowers in her hair and obviously the look of her face. And the prompt was, woman wearing a blue and purple dress is eating a taco made of slimy, colorful squids, trying to escape in a fast food restaurant as it pours down rain outside. So all the elements were there, although I don't know if this squid is trying that hard to escape. Another AI generated image of Tracy was used as the reference image, so it's very stylized here. So I wanted to see how that stylization would transfer. And the prompt is, woman is walking through the grocery store with a cart full of wine. And I think it captured it great. I mean, it doesn't look completely like her because it's a stylized picture of her in the first place. This is a stylized image of my friend Rob, and I actually created this over at OpenArt. Now, I talk about OpenArt a good bit on this channel because it's my favorite online platform. They're always adding new things, and they've just added a character creator, which, much like Minimax Hailuo, takes one image that you either can upload or create here on the platform, which is what I do, and then create a model from it, and then you're able to create lots of images with that model and maintain consistency. You'll see that I did that here with the stylized picture of my mad scientist guy that I use in some of my videos, or these up here where I created a stylized character based on me but exaggerated the features. Once I have an image like that of a character that I've created, I can come over here into Minimax, and in my characters I've simply uploaded these single images of these characters, and with just this one image it can create a consistent video. So here I used that little character of my friend Rob, and the prompt was, man playing cards in a smoky bar. Now I realized that it looks like they've taken this otherwise stylized image of him and tried to make it more realistic. And what I've learned, as you'll see as we go along, is a text prompt can help put it back to exactly how you want. Here's another still image that we used as a subject reference, an AI generated image of my friend Jim. And then the prompt was, man playing cards in an Old West saloon smoking a cigar. So that's pretty great consistency there, and the cigar is being smoked. Here's another one, same image, man playing cards in an Old West saloon. There's a burning cigar in an ashtray, not didn't quite make the ashtray, and a revolver in front of him on the table. It's not perfect every time, it's just when it works, it's pretty great. So here's another one that it's a little weird because the angle's off, and I always love to throw Bigfoot into these situations, but man playing cards in an Old West saloon. Now here's where I really started to learn how prompting can help this. This is clearly a Pixar-style image of this mad scientist character that was created on a model of my face. But when I prompted it the first time, I just said, man is speeding down the highway in a pink and white VW Beetle. We have one of those. The coastline in the background. And obviously it does not maintain the Pixar look that I had there. It made him sort of a real person. Same thing in this video. Man and Bigfoot are posing for a selfie in front of a giant waterfall in the Amazon jungle. It made him a real person. So then I changed the prompt and said 3D Pixar man is speeding down the highway in a pink and white VW Beetle, the coastline in the background. Now we have a realistic background and this Pixar stylized guy that is adhering way more to the original image. Here's just another pass at it. And another one. I love how the hair is coming out. It may not be Hollywood ready. We are making some cool progress here. Here's the one with Bigfoot reimagined with the 3D direction added to the prompt. Here we're back to this as the reference image, and the prompt was POV of man hanging on the ledge of an extremely tall skyscraper. We see the traffic moving on the street below. That's pretty much the vibe. I guess I was hoping I should have said specifically, he is holding on tightly with his fingers, but this was pretty good. And I was really more looking for the consistency of the face. Here's the reference image again, another AI generated image based on my face. And the prompt was man is going through a garbage can in a dark, rainy alley. And you don't see much of his face on this one, but I prompted it again a little bit differently and had it looking up as a camera as if he was listening to somebody, and that of course helps him look up. There's another shot of it. I was trying to get him to be given bananas, and the consistency is not quite on there either. Here's an instance where I used one of those characters I created over at OpenArt and said 3D animated man sitting on a park bench is playing the accordion for a monkey who is sleeping beside him. Totally nailed the character there. Here's another one with that character. 3D animated man is strutting down the street waving to people as if everyone knows and loves him. Here's that same character but without the 3D animated direction. So it just says man has a runny nose and is trying to wipe it indiscreetly with his sleeve. I love the way that they interpreted this guy with such detail. Now here was my first test of that new live model that I talked about in the image to video section. So this was the still image. You saw it before. And the prompt was man has a runny nose and is trying to wipe it indiscreetly with his sleeve. And I used this new live model for this. And it gave us some pretty good, realistic, fun action. This was just my first experiment with it. I started being more scientific with it a little bit later. So you'll see some before and afters. And it's not always that this is the best option for a character. Here I used that other character based on my friend Rob. I did not give it the 3D rendering direction. And it's just a man juggling chainsaws as part of a carnival sideshow. I didn't give him much detail around his clothes or anything, so he just ended up looking like that. So I did another prompt, but this time I said he is dressed as a clown and he's juggling kittens. So that's a little bit more fun and interesting. As I said earlier, this new live model is well suited for 2D illustrations, and Tracy's done a lot of paintings back when she was in school, and so I got some scans of them and so just did some simple prompting with some of her old paintings. A woman is dreaming of nature at sunset. I add some things to this one later. Here's one, a surreal swirl of nightmarish imagery as a woman is lost in a dream. A surreal robed figure shifts positions and a strange face emerges from the fabric. This is all with this live model. I really love the way this one turned out. Here's the original image, and the prompt was a woman's hand is seen turning through the pages of a green book as a cat jumps into her lap. I love how it assumed this sort of art style with what was given there, but the page turn, I love it. Here I added some birds to that original prompt. Just wanted to see if I could get a little bit more action going on here. So I added some fishes jumping, but then we didn't have that natural motion we had with her face. This one was interesting, just a headshot painting here, and a man looks around and then runs down a path into the background. We don't know if that's like his butt or his back line, or we don't know. It's AI, but it was an interesting interpretation. Here's the original drawing, and then the prompt was a blustery day at the old cottage as an elderly couple walk carefully down the path towards the gas lamp. So I was really kind of hoping they'd appear from over here and walk towards the gas lamp, but I guess right here they walk towards the gas lamp. Here was an attempt to add some more motion to this painting. So I added some blustery wind. She's got birds flying overhead, fish jumping out, mighty rushing river streams, trees sway in the wind, and it's just a little bit crazy here. This one turned out a little bit more creepy than I wanted to. I didn't expect that weird smile with the white teeth and then suddenly all these colorful flowers, but it was man looks around, smiles, and presents a bouquet of flowers, but that looks more like a Monty Python thing. Getting back to the subject reference, these are some images that I'd created for a video that I made for Tracy for Christmas of me as if I was a country singer. So I brought that one in there, and then the prompt was, man is performing music for a very old woman in a wheelchair. We don't really see too much detail going on back there because his face isn't focused on that much. But this character here has proven to be great. I brought this image in, and this is now the subject reference, and I can prompt it with, troll is giving flowers out to a room of children. Here's another super fun example with that troll image. Troll is haggling with a hippie over the cost of a tie-dye shirt at an arts festival by the river. So we've got a lot of nice mulling around. We've even got a band setting up back here, and this character stays consistent, the same bulk, the same body, and everything. I love this. We've got this slight variation with maybe a more bulbous nose, and this warty old troll standing in a fire by a cave. He's got a sign back there that says Bob Doyle Media. That's coincidental, isn't it? Here's another take of that same exact character, same exact prompt. It just generated something different. We've still got the Bob Doyle Media. I had prompted for some slithering stuff on the background of the walls this time, and we've got this sort of talking. Now, we could run this video through any of our lip sync solutions out there, like Runway Act 1 or Live Portrait or whatever solution you like that takes lip sync and adds it to the video, and then we could make this even more customized. This was a reference image I used for a couple of these, and admittedly, it's an AI image, obviously. It doesn't really look like me that much. I just used it quickly to see what would happen, and it ends up looking like this guy more than it does me, but we've got prompts like, man with a very confused look on his face is reading a book, and he gets frustrated, and he tosses it over his shoulder. We got a few versions of that, but you can see that the likeness here is pretty weird and looks way more cartoony than I do, I hope. So this is really way better suited for characters and things like that that don't have to look like a real person consistently. That's not to say that you can't use this for that. I've got nice examples of that as well. So whenever you enter a prompt, in most video generation systems, you'll have some sort of ability to have the prompt that you type enhanced in some way to add more detail or to presumably make it better. So here was the initial still image. And this is without optimization of the prompt. I just said the Grim Reaper is doing a happy dance in a snowy graveyard. He's doing a dance. You can definitely see some tearing, and it just kind of messes up around his hand. Here we have enhanced the prompt. What we see as our prompt doesn't change at all. It still says the Grim Reaper is doing a happy dance in a snowy graveyard, but clearly now he's doing a happy dance in a snowy graveyard, and we're not getting that tearing, and it just looks way, way better. So prompt optimization is basically on by default for me. This is the avatar I use when I forget to hit record on the camera. I hope I did. Yes, I did. So it's great to be able to bring him in and do things like this. I made this for my friends over at OpenArt just to say hello, but this was just a regular image to video, and I was just using their base model there. Here, instead of doing an image to video, I used that same image as a subject reference and said 3D man, maintaining that look, is smiling while holding a black coffee mug with a wooden handle, says OpenArt. So here's another more stylized reference image of Tracy as sort of a plumber, and using that picture as a subject reference gave the prompt, woman in blue overalls and red shirt is in the kitchen trying to fix a sink that's spraying water all over the place. My grandson's really into skateboarding now. He wouldn't like it if he knew I put pointy ears on him or whatever, but I made a character out of him so I could see what happened here, and then I used that as a subject reference and then said 3D animated elf on a skateboard is grinding down the handrail, etc. So if you've got an idea for an animated film with particular characters, I'm hoping that you're beginning to see the potential here. Here's another one with a little bit more information in the prompt with being chased by dogs, etc. And I changed him from an elf to a boy, but the reference image was still the elf picture, so that's why his ears are still a little bit long. He's also way into Spider-Man, so I said boy wearing a Spider-Man sweatshirt, same elf picture. If you wanted to make some fun, personalized, animated videos of your friends and family, I mean, this is a great way to do it. Here's another comparison between that base model and then the new live model, which is optimized for people and faces. This is the base model and the image here. Remember, this is image to video, and this is the starting image. The prompt was, a scientist and spider are welcoming you to their home with friendly conversation, and that's what we're getting. It looks fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just fine with that base model. Here it is with the live model. So what do you think? To me, I do see a difference. It seems a little bit clearer, a little bit more focused, a little bit more conversational. I'm not sure. We go back and forth. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with this one, but this one just seems a little more smooth. Whereas this one, it actually seems like the frame rate's a little bit different. And I've got another example of the same thing happening. This was the starting image. The prompt was a troll couple on a plane are talking with each other, obviously beginning to fall in love. I never got that result in any of these. But this was the base here, and as you can see, it animates. They're talking, but it's got almost a stop motion style to it. Here, everything is exactly the same except that I used the live model, and now it's more smooth. We don't get the weird eye stuff, and clearly there is a difference. In this case, I absolutely like the output of the live model better. Just to test that theory, I ran it again with the live model just to get another result, and it was just as consistent and just as good, although it does not look like they're falling in love unless there's just a different way that trolls do it. I don't know. I've shown you a good many examples of some exaggerated characters, so I want to show you some examples of just using it to try to recreate a real person without it needing to be exaggerated in any way. This is my editor Presley. We've met her many times on this channel, and here I said, woman holding a baby chick up to her face. Again, this is the subject reference model, and it did a fair job here of keeping her looking like her. This not as much. It's woman dressed for a business meeting is riding a subway drinking coffee. You know, there's no sliders to adjust the strength of the model or anything like that. You just get what you get. I tried to stylize it with just a prompt. In this case, I said 3D Pixar Disney animated woman, big eyes, exaggerated features. That's kind of a go-to prompt for when I want this style. And then is skipping down the sidewalk on an autumn day, leaves falling gracefully. And I pretty much got what I wanted. It's not like jumped off the screen of the movie theater, but I did stylize the image successfully with just a prompt. I did the same thing here with an attempt as having her as a cheerleader on a televised football game. We only see a face that looks somewhat like her at the end. Otherwise, we just get your typical AI Olympic athletics here. So I thought, well, let's see if we can stylize this a little bit with a prompt. So same exact thing. I said 2D illustrated pencil sketch animation of cheerleader at a football game. So the face is, I'm not sure how to describe that. It's a blend, right, between illustrated and real, although it's more exaggerated. But the rest of it turned into a 2D illustration, but it's still kind of crazy. What I love in a workflow like this about working over at OpenAI to create my base images is, number one, they generate super fast, but it's really, really easy to generate quick variations of these prompts. So I've got a whole range of this character, this 87-year-old man, which didn't really take there, so I started prompting it more and taking down the strength of the model of me so that there was a little more creativity. And as I did that, and then I decided I wanted to put some weight on him, so then I had this image that I could use as a subject reference to use in some videos. And in this case, I said, a man is sitting at a table with food in front of him, and he is arguing with an exasperated waitress at a 50s diner. So it definitely got the face likeness, but I realized it didn't really transfer the weight over. So the next time I said, obese man is sitting at a table with food in front of him, same exact prompt other than that. We've got him there, and we've got more people coming in. But this is more what I was going for. Here he's complaining, obviously, and we get Bigfoot to bring him a shake. I love adding Bigfoot to prompt. Here's another quick example of this image as a reference image, so you can see again how it transfers the style. So the prompt was, woman is pulling kittens out of her purse at the grocery store checkout lane. I wanted to see more kittens than I want a real Mary Poppins thing, but it's still cute. Kind of looks like Madonna. And then using this image again as the subject reference, I was able to prompt, man is having a conversation with a miniature elephant he is holding in his hand. It did try to make him more real. It's a blend between the distinctly animated version of him and a real version, but I like what it did here. Over at OpenArt, I had created this character named Robbie. And because he's a character, I can reference him in my text prompt by just typing @Robbie. And then what I wanted to do is eating pizza with Bigfoot. In this case, when I prompted that, was a Bigfoot hybrid. I should have said something like sitting next to, but I like this image so much that I used it as a starting image over here, prompting with man Bigfoot hybrid is eating pizza while fighting off a giant wasp that keeps attacking him. This again using the live model, not the base model. Here was a different starting image, again with the live model. The prompt was man shovels, pushes pizza into his mouth, chomping up and down voraciously. Through the kitchen, we see Bigfoot walk by and wave, and there he is. What I meant to type was through the kitchen window, and that's why when I looked at this, I said, why wasn't he out the window? Well, it's because I didn't type out the window. I just said through the kitchen, and that's what he did. But you'll notice that when he takes the bite of that pizza, it goes into his mouth and disappears. So they've got that stuff figured out. Again, comparing the live model and the base model for animation like this, a bunny is closely examining plants through a magnifying glass. So this is the live model. We've got some nice little nose twitching there. And this is the base model. Also some nice nose twitching there. So I really can't call a clear winner. I think I might actually like this first one better. Now, to be fair, This is not a human face, and it's not a 2D illustration, so we might expect that the base model would do better. That's why we test these things. I wanted a prompt to try to get some more movement in the image so that the plants would sway or something. I changed the prompt by adding strong wind blows causing the plants to sway. This was with the live model, and I didn't get any of that. I just got more of the bunny. This animation's good, but I didn't get what I was prompting for there. So I tried the same prompt using the base model, not the live model, and now I've got more what we're going for. We've got some breeze going on here. He jumps, is maybe catching something that was blowing in the wind. Totally worth testing both models, but keep in mind that the live model specifically says 2D illustrations and human faces, basically. Here we've got an interesting blend of 3D animated character and real life character. So here was the reference character that I used, and the prompt was magician falls down the stairs in a busy mall, causing people to laugh and point. So he is clearly an animated being, and the rest of them are real people, laughing, not pointing as much, but they're laughing. I don't know why it's funny, but I told them to laugh, so they did it because they're obedient. This was just one of my many attempts to push this Robbie character off of a building onto some rocks, but this is about the best I could get. This was the live model, and man falling out of a building onto a pile of rocks, waving his arms wildly as he descends. I had to add that because nothing was happening if I didn't, so I thought I'd try a different strategy. Man posing for a picture leans back too far and falls over the ledge, but he doesn't fall over the ledge, he falls forward. Here was actually my first attempt with the base model, and this is what I got with that. It really just sits there, I get two or three frames of weirdness, and then just a frozen image. They just really don't want me to push him off a building, I guess. Here's another attempt. Drone footage of man posing for a picture, leans back too far and falls backwards over the ledge as the camera follows. I was just trying to add a little bit more prompting to see if I could get him to go down, but no, he just sort of did what you're seeing him do. Finally, as an experiment, and I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, you know on Snapchat they've got those filters that make your face all kinds of weird ways, and I've got so many images, and I've thought many times about creating a Laura of those and creating a consistent character, and now I don't have to. I can literally just upload an image like this into Minimax and give it the prompt, man is officiating wedding ceremony, and there he is, no model necessary. So, oh man, the Snapchat characters that are likely to show up in my videos coming up, So I know that was a lot and a lot of examples and not like completely systematically structurally organized, but I hope I at least provided a good overview of the new tools and how to use them and the differences between the models and all those fun things. If these are the types of things you'd like to learn more about, well, why not subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already, because these are the topics that we cover all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I